Do you know, it's a fact that we only have about 20 unique thoughts a day. I was reminded of this the other day. Everything else is us ruminating over those things, and it's usually an issue. And this is why we hold negative things in place. We hold negative situations in our life, which we perceive to be negative, not what we want. We're holding it in place because we keep referring back to it. So all throughout the day, you might have another thought, but it's always come from that initial thought that you've had. So if something happens to you in the morning, for example, which was you didn't like, you will find that you go back to that several times throughout the day, and you think about it, and you get annoyed about it, so you build up that energy even more so. And what happens when we keep seeing what we don't want in our lives, we're not seeing the desired version that we want, is because we're ruminating too much on the why we don't have it, or the feeling of not having it. We just keep going back to it. And even if we just think about it briefly, what we do is we build that vibration, we build that energy, and that becomes what we manifest and what we see. Because we're manifesting, we're seeing all the time, we're manifesting all the time, we're manifesting those feelings into our life. So it's not like we're not manifesting, we are, but we're manifesting our dominant feeling state. And our dominant feeling state is just that. If you consistently and persistently go back to the reasons why something cannot happen, or why it's not happening, or questioning and trying to make this rational and thinking, well, is it this, is it that, then you are constantly holding it in place because you keep going back to it and you keep creating that energy of not having it. So that's what we want to stop doing. And do you know what that is? It is your brain, it's your mind, it's our human mind that tries to control situations. It thinks that it's doing the best for us, and it really has a hard time of not controlling things. And the thing is, it has no part to play with manifesting. It really doesn't. All it can do is get in the way. So we want to stop that from happening. And we stop that from happening by not engaging. When we notice that we've gone to that thought again, we stop ourselves and we say, hang on a minute. And the phrase I used to use was, will this serve me? But you don't have to use that, you can use anything. And I would immediately think, no, of course it won't serve me. So I would stop. So I'd practice stopping myself in my tracks. And it is practice at first, for sure, because your brain will naturally, your mind will naturally go to analyze a situation, try to work out a real world, normal reason why you are not getting what you want. And should you do this or should you do that? And it will try and find you something else to do in order to get that. But look at it this way. If your mind has not got you that thing that you want by now, it's not going to. It's not going to suddenly, miraculously find you a solution. Because what's happening is your mind is taking over, and it's trying to take away from this kind of source energy inside of us, inner you, higher you, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. It is interfering, and it is not equipped to get you what you want, because it's not its job, it's not what it's there for. What it's doing is interfering and saying that it knows best. And it is like a reflex action, isn't it? We don't even realise we're doing it half the time. So you just need to start noticing when you're doing it, and creating your own phrase. If will this serve me doesn't work for you, create your own phrase that stops you from doing it, and just keep doing that and keep doing that until eventually that will lessen naturally. I mean, I do that occasionally. Something will pop into my head and I'll notice that I'm doing it, but I'll immediately just stop now. But I don't do it very often at all. And that does not mean I feel positive all the time. It's got nothing to do with being positive. Absolutely not. Positivity, negativity does not come into this. It's just stop ruminating all of those things and going on over and over and over them, because they are an energy, and that is the energy that you're forming. So of course that's what you're going to see. So it's stopping yourself from doing that and trying to keep as neutral as possible. And we do that quite naturally. We can stay neutral by saying, brain, mind, this is not your job. You cannot help me. There's nothing you can do to help me. You haven't helped me so far, so what makes you think you can help me now? Whatever you want to do, talk to yourself, but sort of aim it at your rational mind, because it's not its job. It thinks that it is. It's only a protection mechanism. It thinks that it's helping, but it's not. So see it as a little entity, really, rather than you. It isn't you. It's just that part of you that wants to interfere and feels that it needs to control, and it cannot help you here. So it's a case of just not engaging with it, really. And you do that by just noticing when you're doing that and stopping yourself, pulling yourself back. Make that a practice until eventually you will still do it, because it's a human condition, isn't it? We won't do it as much. Like I said, I rarely do it. I do find myself doing it sometimes, but I can immediately snap myself out of it, and you will be able to do that. And that's how you do start creating the life that you want, and you don't keep yourself in this stasis of the life that you have now, that not that you're unhappy with the life that you have now, but you keep wanting this thing which you've put over here, and you keep looking, but it's not here, and you keep reminding yourself of, and you make up reasons, your mind will make up reasons why it isn't here, but the only reason it isn't here is because energetically you're at work with it. You have the energy of it not being here. That's the only reason. There's no other reason. I'm going to keep this video really short because there's no point in me messing that up and saying anything else, because that is what it is, and that's that. Okay, I hope this is useful. I'm an author, my books are listed below, they're all available on Amazon. I'm a coach. There's availability on my website. My son is a law of attraction coach too, and I will probably link to his on the end screen here, link to his channel, and I do a podcast with him once a week too. And that is that. Thanks for watching.